What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's continue with some more F1 2019 career mode. As you guys can see, we are still in the Williams team, and today we are getting ready for the Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit. As you guys just seen, we've got a new upgrade, a minor front wing upgrade, but so we're going to take a look at the aerodynamics department. We are still ways away from having even nearly competitive car on that department. In terms of the progress history, as you guys can see, the only teams who didn't upgrade were Racing Point and McLaren. Renault actually upgrading the most out of every team, actually caught up quite a lot with Racing Point and McLaren. They are almost overlapping there, those three teams in the graphic. Every other team upgraded, some more, some less. We also upgraded just a minor front wing downforce upgrade, and of course I'm going to keep investing on it. I'm going to keep getting the efficiency upgrades, which reduce the cost. So we are going to once we start improving, we will improve rapidly. In terms of the standings, as you guys can see, it's just the sum out of the first two races, only 13-point scorers, and we are the last ones.
Welcome to Shanghai for this weekend's Chinese Grand Prix. We begin with today's practice session.
So in terms of our practice, it went just like the previous ones. We got everything purple apart from the qualifying pace. The car is still very stubborn. It doesn't like cornering at all. I wasn't really able to get anywhere close to the purple results in the qualifying pace, which of course can mean some trouble during the race, but nonetheless we are going to try our best. At least we have our teammate to beat. So it's not actually going to be a tall order to get anything competitive, but we just have to keep on going. These early races, these early career races, it's just part of the progress. We have to take it in the machine and just keep on going. So let's see how it goes from here on in.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
Well, yeah, we still have to discover the car. We have to find out where we are stronger, and of course we also got a minor upgrade on the front wing. So yeah, just trying it out.
It's the start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you?
Well, you can really never tell this early. There's lots of kilometers to go, lots of miles to go, lots of laps, lots of races, and lots of R&D as well. It is going to be a process, that's for sure. We are not where we want to be, but of course it's too early to tell where we are going from here.
Appreciate your time.
So back home, or at least as close as home as we can call it, we got quite a few resource points. Of course, we've gotten those results in the practice program, so we got quite a few of them. And at the end of it, we are going to get ourselves just under 700 points, which is great. And we are not going to invest them just yet, as you can see into qualifying. The Emma's extra target, 14th or better. I don't know what she's been smoking, but let's see if we can achieve that. I highly doubt it, but nonetheless, weirder things have happened. Let's get ready then for our qualifying session, as we just started. And of course we're going to complete our first flying lap. Not really proud of that one, but of course it was the most I could extract out of the car. It's also a little bit of a struggle for me to get used to racing without the line. I'm really trying to improve on that department. Some tracks I'm better than others, of course. But through that first lap, that 135.3 is extremely uncompetitive. We still beat Russell, so we are 19th at the moment, and we are currently improving on this second attempt. The skies are getting a bit darker, but it's not going to rain during the qualifying session. Get a bit wide there, almost lose the rear. That's going to compromise our run into this snail section for sure, and we are going to lose a bit of time here as well, because you can see I had to lift off quite a lot on the entry to the right-hander, because if I kept the throttle down I would understeer into the curb, and that would really lose me even more time. Also understeering at the exit of the corner as well, so we could have been gaining much more time, but just a series of mistakes on this one. and into the hairpin, we also don't quite nail it as much as I would like to, so unfortunately we won't be able to really hook up a lap. Nonetheless, we are still going to cross over the line despite derating almost 1/10 of improvement, and at the end of it, it was actually enough, as George Russell was held up by someone on an outlap when he was doing his own flying lap, so we are still 2.5 seconds away from Kimi Raikkonen. You can't hide that one, but at least we beat our teammate and we got 19th place, which is our target. So it's also Grosjean and Stroll, and like I mentioned, Raikkonen. So let's see how it goes. Let's get started for the Chinese Grand Prix.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai.
Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14.
And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race.
Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside.
As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have
Verstappen, Hamilton,
Pierre Gasly
and Vettel, Perez, Ricciardo,
Weber and Lando Norris,
Magnussen,
Butler,
Nico Hülkenberg and Sainz,
Albon,
Grosjean, Lance Stroll and Kimi Raikkonen.
the rookie, and George Russell ends our grid lineup.
And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, I'll definitely try not to, as just getting wrapped up with our formation lap. We're going to do the simple one-stop strategy, mediums to hards. Most cars are on that strategy unless they start in the top 10. So yeah, it's just box standard strategy. It's going to be a tough one, of course. You need to pull off something special to get anything within the top 15. We're going to try, of course. A good start is going to be important, but to be honest, I'm not very good on the starts. In the F2 cars I'm good, but in the F1 cars I'm not very good at keeping the car from wheel spinning. So it's quite weird to me. Nonetheless, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. A bad start, as you can see. We almost spun into Russell. We're going to have to be brave into the braking zone off turn 1. Stroll is still alongside Raikkonen. Russell tries to cover us around the outside. Look at this. Something happened with the cars up ahead. They really slowed down into turn 2 and 3, and we just get ourselves on the inside of turn 3. It's going to be 3 wide with Albon and someone else. Now we got around Sainz, and we are also catching up on the Renault. Will we throw ourselves down into it? And we do get ourselves on the inside of the German of the Renault, and are now side by side with Evan Butler. We all know what happened at Austria last time we went side by side with the British driver. Nonetheless, this time around we are keeping it clean and respectable. He's going to take the outside maneuver. Ooh, there's contact with me. Fortunately, no damage there, but the British driver does get ahead. Now I do a mistake, get too deep into the corner. The German is going to say thank you very much, and is going to get himself alongside me. Going to try to take the position. I'm going to try to keep up with him as we get into the snail section. Let's see how it goes. We still force him to take a compromised approach. We also do have to take a compromised approach, especially as the car really doesn't like cornering, and Sainz is going to get a much better exit. It's going to start pressurizing us. I'm going to try to take a bit of the slipstream of Hülkenberg, but his covering is coming to the middle of the track. There's a bit of wheel bang as we go 3 wide. Sainz having a big puff of smoke coming from his front tires as we go on the switchback, and we actually get ourselves up ahead of the Renault and the McLaren. The McLaren is still going to get alongside us though, is going to force us wide, and we have Albon lurking on the background behind Hülkenberg. Let's see how that one goes, even though looking ahead there's a 3-wide battle between Butler, Norris and the Dane K-Mag, Kevin Magnussen, as they are battling for the last of the points paying positions. The young British man is going to go around the outside of turn number 4, and he does keep himself that last of the points paying position, so very nicely done from Norris, as K-Mag does have a cheeky look down the inside, but he's not going to pull the trigger on him just yet. So you're going to be, as you can see, how much we are struggling through that corner, how much we have to use the steering wheel. Of course, using the steering wheel that much not only increases the tire wear, and it just doesn't help. It's going to make the tires get hotter quicker, so the opportunities to overheat them are going to be quite big if we are not careful, as Sainz gets his nose on the inside there, and they're going to have to respect his space. He's going to get probably a much better exit to get a compromised line out of this very long right-hander, and it's not only Sainz but also it is Hülkenberg, who a bit of contact there with the Spaniard. Let's see how it goes. Hülkenberg actually overtakes both of us down the straight. Are we going to outbrake them? No, we are not going to outbrake them. We're trying to go on a bit of a wider approach to get a straightened out exit, but Albon manages to sneak on the inside, says thank you very much, and that was a big mistake from us. We actually lost 3 places on that exchange, and now we have the Frenchman Romain Grosjean in 17th, breathing down our neck as we start lap number 3. Also at the start of lap number 3 we have Lewis Hamilton, who has prime seat in the house for this battle between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. The young Monegasque actually throws it on the inside of turn number 5, and now into turn 6 Hamilton goes around the outside, and look at that, actually gets better traction and a beautiful maneuver from the British driver, gets himself up to a P4, so nicely done from him. Later on that lap number 3, Albon, I believe, has already pulled away over a second on us, so I don't think we are going to get ERS available. Grosjean is going to find us an easy prey though. As you guys can see, is really close from the proximity area, is practically glued to our rear diffuser. He's going to get ERS, going to get the slipstream, going to get a huge speed differential. Are we going to be able to outbrake him? No, we are not. Even before the braking zone, he was cleanly ahead of us. We need to keep ourselves smooth on our inputs though if we want to have a good enough exit out of this last corner to be able to get back at him. He still gets a better exiting speed, but you're going to start getting the slipstream. We get to the ERS, we get the ERS mode as well, and we are going to throw ourselves down our inside, force the Frenchman to go all the way around the outside of turn 1. We give him a bit of a squeeze. That was legal though, we didn't force him onto the grass, but the Frenchman still finds a way to keep himself alongside us enough for us to have to give space to him. There's also up ahead, ooh, that's a big tank slapper from us. Nonetheless, we managed to save that one, and we managed to keep ourselves the 16th place, I believe that was. Hülkenberg is also witnessing to a battle between Albon and Carlos Sainz, a battle that Carlos Sainz won in that instance, and now into lap number 5 it is Albon defending from the German. The number 27 did get himself around the outside, is going to get the RS, got the overtake done, and Albon gets demoted 2 places in 2 laps. Now taking a look at Hamilton at the end of lap number 5, a bit of indecisiveness perhaps there, as he almost collided with the back of the Ferrari, but young Monegasque is just, even before the braking zone, the Mercedes is just clean ahead. There's not much Leclerc can do. He tried to hold down the inside line, but not much he can do, and you can see Hamilton has already gotten a few car lengths of advantage. Looking further back, also at the end of that lap 5, Grosjean is going to have another go at us. That time I'm going to bring it down to standard mix. We were on rich mix for the entire straight, and now we are going to try to have a go once again. We put the power down, the car complains a bit, so that's going to make things harder. Let's see how it goes out of the last corner. We mount the car, but yeah, Grosjean just got himself a much better exit, and at this point we are just too far away to be able to overtake the Frenchman, so we're going to have to stay put in 17th place for the time being. Let's see. Ooh, we're actually going to have a look there, but Grosjean slams into us. Not sure if we should have been given space since we had our front tires on the side pod of the Haas there, but nonetheless, jumping to another round of the Sainz-Hülkenberg Albon battle, and Albon overtakes the Renault this time around, so it's still alive, that trio. So very good stuff to see from them, as the leaders have already started are about to start lap number 7, so we are still in lap 6, and it is Raikkonen who is going to have a good exit. I don't think we are going to get DRS from the Haas in front. Let's take a look. No, we do not. This man does, though. The number 18, the Canadian Lance Stroll, is going to have prime seats in the house for this battle between the Alfa Romeo and ourselves. We go for a wide approach once again, trying to put the traction down earlier, coming out of the corner, make a more acute angle, getting ourselves out of the corner to be on the throttle earlier, but didn't quite work. And now into turn 1, Raikkonen, crucially for him, is going to get DRS of Romain Grosjean, so we won't really be lucky there, as we actually go very deep into turn 1. We may judge our braking point, and Lance Stroll is going to say thank you very much, going to take the position from you, but we aren't going to back down without a fight. We throw our car down inside, giving a bit of a squeeze. He has to back out from it. Ooh, the rear there, not letting ourselves get the traction down as early as we wanted, or at least the traction down as early as we wanted in a clean way. So that was a bit of a scary moment. Nonetheless, we maintain 18th place as we get ourselves to the end of lap 7. And this is the number 33, the young Dutchman, battling for position with Sebastian Vettel. This is for P4 at the moment. The Red Bull gets the inside line, forces the Ferrari a bit wide. No, the Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel does get a better exit. He's not going to get the arrest though, but there is the Frenchman. There is Gasly getting himself on the inside run on his teammate. The number 33 was boxed in by Vettel and by Pierre Gasly, and it's going to be Gasly taking the outside line out of turn number 4. He does get a wider line, so higher apex speed, and he's actually going to keep himself alongside his teammate. He's going to get the inside line to turn number 6, and let's see how it goes now on the traction. It looks like it was actually Verstappen. Great maneuver from Verstappen, despite being on the outside. He's going to maintain his position ahead of his teammate, and he's going to have another chance to attack Vettel later on. While all that was happening, we tried to have a go at Stroll. He was going to cut us off, so I actually had to go onto the grass to avoid damage there. Fortunately, not hard enough of a hit to get us front wing damage, but Stroll getting ourselves a bit of a squeeze on the exit. We are going to sell him the dummy, and he bites on it. He took it, and we went from the outside to the inside and gets the position back from him, and we maintain 18th place. Now, this is Lewis Hamilton, who has been bringing the young Monegasque with him on his slipstream and DRS. This time around, the British driver is going to have a go around the outside of Bottas. Of course, the move isn't as clean as the one the British driver made on the Ferrari. Nonetheless, he does keep himself ahead, and now Bottas is going to have DRS on his teammate. Is he going to be able to keep up with it? I don't think so. Yeah, he's too far away. He's going to have to stay put in P2 for the time being as they start lap number 9. And we also have Kevin Magnussen as the leaders get now into lap 10. Kevin Magnussen having a go at Butler for the last of the points ping positions. So once again, the Toro Rossos are battling for the points, and Kevin Magnussen, just like at Bahrain, is doing a very good job. He's going to get himself the inside line out of the last corner. There's also a battle between Sainz and the Renault of Hülkenberg. Sainz wins on that instance, and the Dane also gets past number 11, who is now demoted to 11th place. Taking a look at the end of lap 10, and this is Max Verstappen catching up to Bottas as Vettel gets past the Finn, and our pole sitter looks like he's struggling. He's dropped out the pace in about 2 laps. He's gone from being miles away from the Ferraris to get caught by Hamilton. then by Leclerc, then by Vettel, and now he has both Red Bulls right behind him. Fortunately for him, he has the RS, so the Red Bulls won't be much of a threat this lap, but you can see on a couple camera shots ago how far ahead Hamilton is from the others, so that's how much distance Bottas has lost in about 2 to 3 laps. So Bottas must have something wrong with his car. As we jump to our own perspective, in our lap 10, the leaders of course have already started lap 11. Stroll is going to have a go at us with the RS, so is going to take a protective approach to it on the inside line. Stroll is going to have to respect our space. He doesn't really respect our space, so there's a bit of contact there. Fortunately, no carbon fiber broken. We are going to raise our hand in frustration, and we actually tried to switch back there, but we had to brake further than what we expected to avoid the rear end of Stroll. Nonetheless, we do manage to get a good exit, good enough to get ourselves alongside into turn 1 with the aid of the RS. We get ourselves a bit too deep though, so Stroll is going to come back at us. Beautiful switchback from Stroll, having some fighting spirit in him. Let's see, it's going to be a traction battle now as we come out of turn number 4. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be a short sprint down into the end of the first sector. We're going to go hard on the brakes. We're going to take it around the outside, and it's going to be a traction battle once again, but just like Verstappen, we do get a better exit and we manage to keep our 18th place. Speaking of Verstappen, here he is finally having a fight with Bottas into the Snell section. Big lockup from the Mercedes there. Is definitely having some sort of issue, and this is actually, I would say, a mistake from the Red Bull driver, because of course now Bottas and Gasly are going to have the RS. So let's see how it goes, and it looks like we're going to have the flaps open. And that is weird. It looks like neither Bottas or Verstappen got to the RS. It's only Gasly having the RS at this point. He's actually going to have a go at both of them. He overtook his teammate. He gets the inside line on Bottas, and there's contact between Bottas and Verstappen. That's really going to compromise Bottas, especially as he was already struggling, and now he doesn't have as much of a slipstream on the car ahead. He's going to have DRS, but not slipstream. Nonetheless, Max Verstappen is not close enough or quick enough to overtake the Mercedes on that lap. Looking further back once again, Stroll is going to have a look at us for sure. Let's see how it goes. He's going to take the inside. He's going to be cleanly ahead of us even before the braking zone. We do brake a bit later. Stroll also getting a bit of a lockup on his front left tire. Our tires still complaining, as you can see. We struggle to put the traction down coming out of the corner and into the last corner. The RS is going to be available nonetheless. Stroll got a much better exit. We aren't going to be able to get past the racing point. We are getting very close to our pit window, and so are the leaders. As you can see, it is Lewis Hamilton at the beginning of lap 14. End of lap 13, Hamilton gets service from mediums to hards. Vettel does the same. He gets a bit held up there by the pitting Verstappen, but most cars are going from softs to hards. Perez is going to, who is having, at least so far, a very lonely 7th place race. Really is on no man's land. There is Ricciardo also doing the same pit stop. There is one of the Toro Rossos, I believe that is Butler. Yes, it is the number 11. Carlos Sainz is going to do the same, mediums for hards. And we are also going to get into the pits at this point as Raikkonen gets service. There was also Grosjean, I believe, coming out of his grid marks. And last, we are going to get ourselves a swap for the white marked hard tires as well. So that means, since it was the Perez pitting for Racing Point, it means Stroll didn't pit this lap and we pitted for the Williams, so Russell is only going to pit next lap. So we are going to get the 1 lap undercut. Will we make it work? We are going to get Russell out of the pit lane, but Stroll is going to be much harder into turn 1. We do have the already up to temperature tires. Stroll does not. We are going to throw it down the inside. I knew it was going to try to smack me, so I had to go a bit on the grass to avoid damage. Nonetheless, we managed to park the bus there on the transition between turn 2 and turn 3, and we do get up to P18 again. We are now in lap number 16, and looks like Bottas has managed to get himself a little bit away from the Ferrari and the Red Bulls. Nonetheless, on the very big back stretch in lap 16, he's going to have his engine give up on him, and it is a very unfortunate end of the race for our pole sitter. Yes, it is a terminal engine issue for Valtteri Bottas. He was struggling the entire race. Nonetheless, show must go on, as they say, and it's going to be going on with another round of this Red Bull fight. It's going to be Verstappen having a go down the inside of his French teammate. Pierre Gasly is going to have the outside. Is going to be able to retaliate. Yes, he is, as he takes the inside of turn 3 and into turn 4. Now, of course, Verstappen is going to take a wider line coming out of the corner, so he's going to take average higher speed, and he does manage to get the traction down well enough to get himself ahead of his teammates even before the end of the first sector. As the leaders now start lap number 18, we have Carlos Sainz, who is battling for P13. I believe this is at this point. This is Albon is battling with. He's going to get himself around the outside of the hairpin. Let's see if he has good enough traction to keep himself alongside. That is important on the approach to the last corner. Looks like he does, as we get just past the Rolex sign. He's going to be... oh, there's a bit of contact there. Some cheeky move there from the Spaniard. And the driver from Thailand is going to get relegated a place. We have also the onboard camera, as you can see, the number 18, Lance Stroll, setting his sights on us. And we can see Russell is also lurking there, trying to pick up any pieces that might come his way. There was a bit of contact as he let the rear slip from me there. I apologize for that one to the Canadian. Nonetheless, we are going to keep on racing, and we do take the inside line out of the last corner, and we are going to start lap number 19 ahead of the Canadian. So for the time being, we are going to be able to maintain our place, but of course Lance Stroll isn't the type to back down without a fight. Speaking of people who don't back out from fights, there is Pierre Gasly going right into another one as he gets himself back on his teammate, just like Verstappen was doing on the previous lap. Forces the Dutchman to the outside. Is he going to be able to retaliate? Yes, he is. So carbon copy move from the previous, and the Frenchman is going to take the outside line out of turn 4 and is going to get the maneuver done into turn 5, no issue, just like his teammate did on the previous lap. So very nicely done from the young Frenchman. So we're going to take a look now at the end of lap 23. The leaders just started lap 24, but as you can see, it is Butler who is starting to close in on Kevin Magnussen for the last of the points being positions. Magnussen overtook the Toro Rosso and pulled away a little bit, but now looks like the Toro Rosso is having a stronger last few laps, and it's going to be right on the gearbox of Kevin Magnussen coming out of the last corner. Let's see, is going to be quick enough to get himself, as we also had Norris battling, I believe that is Raikkonen, no, that is actually Weber, battling Weber for P8 or P7, something along those lines for a moment there. Nonetheless, it is Butler actually manages to overtake the Dane of the Haas and gets himself into the last of the points paying positions, but not for long, as at the beginning of the next lap, it's going to be the Dane paying the favor back to his rival, and he's actually going to take the inside. He's going to allow the Toro Rosso to get... oh yes, he does. The Toro Rosso does get his nose in there, and K-Mag has to respect that. Nonetheless, he does take the wider approach out of turn 4, and into turn 5 he's going to be ahead even before the braking zone at the end of the first sector. Looking at us, it's going to be Lance Stroll taking another approach at us as we once again go very deep into turn 1. There is contact between myself and him, and he's going to try to take the outside line into turn 3, but look at that, he gets a bit hung out to drive by ourselves, and Russell is going to say thank you very much and actually slots himself in between, demotes the racing point back down to last place, going to cover the inside line, and Lance Stroll, there's just nothing he can do. He cannot do much at this point, apart from being in last place. So about to start lap 28 for Butler. Is going to get himself to DRS, going to get himself past K-Mag, as of course the leaders have already started lap 28, but these guys are still on the last lap of lap number, or the last corner of lap number 27. Let's see, will the Dane be able to use DRS to overtake the Toro Rosso? Looks like he's a bit too far away, and yeah, he's not going to be doing that, at least this time around. Maybe on the 1 kilometer DRS zone is going to be able to get something done. Nonetheless, We have Lewis Hamilton on his last lap. He started, I believe, either 5th or 6th, managed to get his way through his most close competitors, and he was just unstoppable today as he crosses over the line to take home the win of the Chinese Grand Prix. It's going to be Charles Leclerc with the 2nd place and Sebastian Vettel taking home the last of the podium paying positions, and it is going to be a very good day in terms of point scoring for the Ferrari team, at least in the constructor sides of things. And us, we are going to be quite happy with that 17th place. It was a fun race, of course, not exactly where we want to be at the back of the pack. Nonetheless, we beat one car from another team, and we also beat our teammate and got a target, so I'm happy with that.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Okay, there you have it. Lewis Hamilton takes 2nd win in the first 3 races. He takes home the Chinese Grand Prix. What an amazing way to do it. Just sliced his way through the top 6 to get himself to the top. And of course, not a shabby day from the Ferraris, who of course don't take the win, but they are going to capitalize quite hard on the retirement of Valtteri Bottas. Going to take a look at the final results. Hamilton takes the win. It's going to be Max Verstappen, then Gasly, Sergio Perez with a very lonely 6th place. Lucas Weber gets 7th in front of Lando Norris. Daniel Ricciardo gets P9. Evan Butler closes top 10 at the end. Magnussen wasn't able to get past Toro Rosso in the last lap of the Grand Prix. We are going to beat Lance Stroll, Bottas DNF, of course. We are going to get relegated to P14 due to Daniel Ricciardo scoring the first 2 points of his season, so he gets himself up to a P13. Lewis Hamilton still leads with an 11-point gap. There's also 1 point separating both Ferrari drivers, so that's also going to get spicy throughout the season. Ferrari is the first team to get through the 100-point mark, 103 points for the Italian team, as Mercedes gets down to 2nd place. Of course, his retirement, or Bottas' retirement, gets them with a 6-point deficit. Getting ourselves back to the motorhome. Of course, we got beaten by Butler, but we did beat Russell. We are still leading him in the rivalry. And in terms of our amount of points, we're going to claim quite a good sum of them, especially because of our race position versus qualifying position and our clean lap percentage. We do get just under 1100 points, going to get a big boost of reputation with the Williams team, going to lose a little bit with the Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo, maybe for some argy-bargy earlier in the race. Nonetheless, we're going to take a look. We now have options. Of course, a new cost reduction upgrade is going to be 1400 resource points, but instead, Baku is a street circuit. We are going to need aerodynamic stability, and we take a minor rear and front wing downforce upgrade. So it's going to get us just under 300 points. Nonetheless, I feel like it is a necessary upgrade. So this is it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever I'm about to start a live stream or to post a video. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day.